everyone, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Taylor and welcome to my tower. On my last trip to Disney World, I completed every single ride in Animal Kingdom except for the Wildlife Express train, so I don't really count that as a ride. I don't know if it technically is because it does actually have a wait time, but in my opinion it is not a ride and we are not going to count it in this video. I will be tier ranking all 7 of Disney's Animal Kingdom rides, and I will also be including It's Tough to Be a Bug only because I know that Dino Land and It's Tough to Be a Bug will be going away shortly and I wanted to have them included in this video. So if you enjoy tier ranking videos, please give this one a thumbs up, and without further ado, let's get on into it. So the tier list that I will be using today is one that I have made over on tiermaker.com. I will have it linked down below if you want to do this as well. I have this ranging from never change, most magical, love it, like it, and skip it, and I've also put all of the rides in alphabetical order. So up first we have Dinosaur, which if you've been subscribed for more than like 10 seconds, you know that Dinosaur is my favorite ride on Disney property, hence the shirt. And so I obviously don't want this ride to ever change. I know that it's going to, but let me just explain why I love this ride so much. So I'm a really huge thrill ride person. I really love roller coasters. I love anything that's scary especially. And I think that's why I love Dinosaurs so much, because there's not really anything that's genuinely scary on Disney property. And I feel like every single time I ride this, it's just like the good kind of like fear anxiety. I don't really know how to explain it. It's like fight or flight, but it's like a good feeling. You understand if you are a thrill junkie as well. But I also just really love horror films. I'm honestly kind of a fan of just dinosaur things in general. I really love like history in that sense. And so I guess just all those things together really make me love this ride. It's also just very nostalgic because it's been in the park for so long, and I will be really sad to see it go, but I'm trying not to let it be the end of the world for me because I trust Disney in their ability to make this a better ride. I would rather them just keep it Dinosaur, honestly. I just really love the whole concept of this ride. I love how cheesy it is, especially in the pre-show, and I just love how the ride vehicle works. It's not really a track that I've ever experienced on another ride. You're just in a Jeep and you're kind of bouncing all around and you're getting whipped around and there's dinosaurs left and right and there's a meteor strike about to happen, and it's just so fun. That's just the best way I can describe it, and I just don't want this ride to ever change. I love it so much and I'm gonna be really sad to see it go. Up next we have Expedition Everest, and this ride, in my opinion, honestly, is a little bit overrated. I understand the hype around it obviously because it is the only coaster that we have in Animal Kingdom, and I'm still very much a thrill girly. Like, I do love this ride, but I think just how slow the first part of the ride is when we take off and then we get up to the tracks being broken, then you go backwards, and it just feels like it doesn't really start until after you see the first Yeti, like the shadow where he's like ripping up the track. Then after that it really kind of takes off, but for me it just takes too long to get to that point, and also the Yeti not properly working ranks this a little bit lower for me as well. I would like to see this ride get no, I don't know if it could ever withstand a refurb to make this track better, but I'd like to see a better coaster in Animal Kingdom, if that makes sense. But I still love this ride, so I don't want to say anything like super negative about it because I'm still gonna go on it every single time that I go to Animal Kingdom. It's just that like I wish that first part was a little bit better, and I wish we had a properly working Yeti. And I'd honestly maybe like to see the animatronic Yeti where we see the shadow Yeti, just so I could really absorb it more. For those reasons, I'd like for it to improve, so it's not gonna go up to never change, but it will go in most magical. Up next we have Flight of Passage, which is not my absolute favorite ride, but it's definitely up there. And the really only qualm that I have with this ride is that the 3D effect is just off. I don't know if it's just for me, but for someone like me that has astigmatism, and I'm not really prone to motion sickness honestly, but this ride does do it for me. I don't know if it's just my vision personally that has the issue with the 3D glasses, because any 3D ride is not a favorite of mine, but this one specifically, I just feel like if it was just a little bit sharper, I would truly enjoy this more, but I usually end up getting off this ride with a headache, and so for that reason it can't go all the way to the top. But I will say I really think this ride is so incredible, especially how the Banshee breathes underneath of you, and it's just like a true adventure, and you get the smells like you get on Soarin', and you just get like completely immersed in Pandora. And I really love this ride, and I especially love it because it is Brad's favorite ride. Brad is my boyfriend, if you didn't know, and so whenever we go to Animal Kingdom together, just his excitement for this ride, it makes me love it even more. And so I'm gonna put this under most magical. I'm also going to rank these within the tiers themselves, and so I'm going to put Flight of Passage above Expedition Everest. Up next we have It's Tough to Be a Bug, which I know is technically a show, I guess, or an attraction. It's not really a ride, but because it's going to be going away, I wanted to include it in this video. And this is a show that is very nostalgic for me. I have a lot of, you know, old memories tied to this. I know a lot of people hate this, and I feel like I tend to be on the opposite kind of wavelength of most people when it comes to ranking rides. I tend to love the ones that people hate or hate the ones that people love. And so I feel like this is a pretty unpopular attraction at Disney World. And for me, I really love this. I think it's because I really love A Bug's Life, the film. I just grew up loving it, and I still watch it today, and I still think that it's amazing. And I just love how Flip comes down from the ceiling. And I agree the spiders are not the best when they come down, but I just love how interactive and immersive this show is. And it's pretty short. It's just a nice way to kind of get off your feet and just listen to the bugs tell the story of what it's like to be a bug. I don't want it to ever change. I know that it's going to. I'm trying to think where I want to put this, because I do want to put this like all the way at the top, but I'm also like okay with skipping this if people in my party don't want to do this as well. But I don't know, I do really love it. So I think I'm going to put this under Most Magical, and it's going to go in between Flight of Passage and Expedition Everest. Up next we have Kali River Rapids, which I just went on for the first time on my group trip in October. If you haven't seen that video, I will have it linked down below. But all 12 of us girls got to go on this together, and so that alone made this ride so much more fun than if I would have just gone on with like one or two, maybe three of my friends. So I think for that reason, I'm probably gonna rate this a little bit higher than I should. I just don't love this ride. I don't think that it has like incredible theming. I don't think that it's necessarily worth a long wait. I will say though that it is nice to have a ride where you can get a little bit of refreshment during the hot summer months, especially in Florida. You're not guaranteed to get wet on this ride, but I know in my group, about half of us got pretty wet, and especially a couple girls got like completely drenched. So you never know what you're gonna get on this ride. And so for that reason, I don't necessarily love it, because it's hard to like plan your outfits around it. And you know, if you're trying to take pictures and stuff, you just like don't know if you're gonna get soaked, but you know, you can always just be prepared for it. It's not that big of a deal. You know what you're getting into if you're getting on a water ride at Disney. So yeah, I do like this. I think it's cool. I wish it had more drops, because just the one drop doesn't feel like it's enough for me. So I'm going to put this under Like It, because I do wish that it was longer and had some more drops, and if it did, I would probably put it under Love It. Up next we have the Safari, or Kilimanjaro Safaris as it's technically called, and this is something that I think is so special and unique, and I don't know if enough people really give this attraction enough credit, because where else in the world can you go and just get on a Jeep and go through an entire savannah in the middle of a theme park and get to experience wildlife in like a natural habitat? Like, it's just not really heard of, and it's really incredible that Disney has been able to safely put guests out in a savannah and just like get to be fully immersed with real wildlife in their element. And so for that reason, I think that this is honestly a very underrated attraction, even though a lot of people go on this and it always has a long wait. But something else that makes this attraction so incredible is that every single ride is going to be different. There may be some times where you ride this and you won't get to see much activity from the animals, but if you ride this during the early hours of the morning, during a light rainfall, or during like dusk time if it's open, because it does tend to close early, you can find the animals more active when it's a little bit cooler out, so especially in like the winter months too. And I know my friends on my trip in October got to see the lions roar, which was such an incredible experience for them. I got to see their video because I wasn't on the ride with them, but just seeing it in a video form was amazing during the sunset. Like, it's just so cool how you can get so many different experiences no matter how many times you ride this. You can also learn so many facts about the animals. Like, I could just go on and on about how incredible the safari is, and I regret not going on it on my last trip, and so I need to make sure I never skip this again, because it just can't be skipped. It's incredible, and it's gonna go under Never Change, and it's gonna go behind Dinosaur. Up next we have our second Pandora ride, which is Navi River Journey, and I feel like I feel about this ride the way that most Disney fans feel, and that it is an incredible attraction, especially the animatronic at the end. totally makes the ride for me. And I really love the little jumping things on the lily pads, and I love how they have immersed the screens in with the physical parts of the attraction, so you kind of get immersed a little bit more. My only thing with this ride is, well, I have a couple things, but the first thing is how short this is, which I feel like is the typical kind of commentary about this ride. It is about 5 minutes, which in the grand scheme of things sounds like it's a pretty decent length ride, but when you wait so long for it and then you only have such a short amount of time off your feet, it really does go by very, very fast. And so for that reason, it's not the best. And my second issue with Navi River Journey is that there's no like true storyline to this ride. And I just wish that if, you know, this ride is going to be so short, I would love to have like some sort of narration about what we're seeing and the importance of it in the, you know, Avatar realm and what we're looking at, rather than it just being like, you know, the sights and sounds, which is definitely cool, like don't get me wrong, but I just wish that we had maybe a little bit of storytelling to this, or for it to be longer and just kind of get to really absorb everything. I just never feel like I'm ready for it to be over, and as soon as I see the animatronic, like literally every single time I'm like, oh, we're done already? And so this is gonna go under most magical, so I'm gonna put this in between Flight of Passage and It's Tough to Be a Bug. Last but not least, we have the final Dino Land ride, and that is Triceratop Spin. And the whole reason that I'm making this video now is because I hadn't been on this until my most recent trip to Animal Kingdom, and I had such a good time on this ride. And I also didn't know that there's like 6 different songs or 5 different songs that you could get, which is so fun. I can't remember what song I got. I'd have to like go back in my video and see. But my only issue with this ride is that it does feel very, very short, which is good when you're waiting in line for it. When you're on it, I just feel like, oh, like the party's just getting started and now we have to get off. I just really love Dino Land. I love just being up in the air and getting kind of like a full aerial view of Dino Land, especially because it's going to be going away. So I just loved being up that high and just jamming out with Michaela and getting to see all of Dino Land from a unique perspective, and I just had a great time on this. I'm not going to put it under most magical because I don't think it's super incredible, especially if you're not me, but I do really love this ride, so I'm going to put this under love it. And there we have it. This is my tier ranking for Animal Kingdom rides, and as you will see, we did not skip anything because I don't think any Animal Kingdom ride is worth skipping, especially because we only have so many rides there. I think that it's definitely worth it to do them all, and I just always will hold such a special place in my heart for Animal Kingdom. I'd love to know in the comments whether or not you guys agree or disagree with me with my rankings here, so go ahead and let me know. Also, if you enjoyed, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe because I post new videos every single Friday, and I will see you real soon. Bye.